Hey guys, I'm going to read this read aloud so that way you'll have it to do your graphic organizer. So the title is Donut 10 Tasty Facts That You Probably Didn't Know About Donuts. All right, fact number 1. Rather you like them glazed, sprinkled, or icing covered, there is one thing that is for sure. Donuts are one of the world's most popular treats. This fried pastry is a favorite for both breakfast and dinner. In fact, 10 billion donuts are made every year in the United States. There are 8,500 Dunkin' Donuts storefronts in America. Add on Krispy Kreme stores and local favorites, and that is quite a lot of donut shops. Do you have a favorite donut store in your area? Make a list of them and take a vote to see which is the class favorite. Tasty fact number 2. Although archaeologists are constantly finding what looks like fossilized donuts, there are no written records to prove that they were really around in the prehistoric Native American settlements. The first cookbook with a recipe on how to make a donut was written in 1803. The donut recipe was included in the American recipe section. But if you know anything about American history, then you know that it is most likely a tradition Americans adapted from a different culture. Another book from 1809 written about the history of New York had a detailed account of a table full of fruits and sweets. On this table were oily cakes that the Dutch families introduced to the Americans. Later on in the mid-1800s, an American ship captain named Henson Gregory claimed he invented the shape of the donut that has become so popular. He said he was just 16 years old when he thought the dough was too greasy, and he was unhappy that the center of the old-fashioned donuts wouldn't cook all the way through, so he cut out the middle using a round tin. Gregory then taught his mother his technique for circular donuts. Mother Gregory made more delicious updates to the donut by adding spices such as cinnamon and nutmeg, lemon rinds, and nuts to the middle where the dough had been removed. Tasty fact number 4. Donuts have been used to lift the spirits of soldiers during war times. In the midst of World War I, officers were worried because spirits were extremely low among their soldiers. They decided with the few supplies that they had, donuts were the best option. This tradition continued during World War II and the Vietnam War. Groups of women volunteered to hand out donuts to the soldiers to remind them of home and to help them forget about the war, even if for a few minutes. These women were referred to as donut dollies or donut girls. In celebration of the Donut Girls, National Donut Day was created starting in 1938. National Donut Day is still recognized to this day on the first Saturday of each June. Tasty fact number 5. After World War I, soldiers came home craving donuts, and their sweet cravings sparked a trend. Adolf Levitt, a resident of New York City and a refugee from Russia, owned a bakery and saw a business opportunity. When viewers would leave the theaters in the evenings, they were hungry and wanted a sweet treat. Levitt's bakery was a great spot to stop, but he couldn't keep up with the demand. That is, until he invented a machine that would drop the circles of dough into the hot oil. Moving ramps allowed the donuts to cool off before they were consumed. The entire process was quite spectacular to viewers and allowed businesses to see donuts as a quick and profitable route. By 1931, Levitt was selling his machines all over the country and making $25 million a year. Tasty fact number 6. If you've ever been to New Orleans, you know the city is known for its amazing pastries such as baguettes, eclairs, and king cakes. During the hard times of the 1930s, known as the Great Depression, a chef from New Orleans named Joe LeBeau sold his delicious donut recipe and the name Krispy Kreme to a man from Kentucky. This man hired his nephew, Veron Rudolph, to make donuts in his bakery. Not too much later, Veron Rudolph moved to North Carolina, borrowed ingredients from a kind grocer, and put the donut recipe to good use. He and some friends started the first Krispy Kreme store. Their brilliant marketing tempted buyers with their Hot Donuts Now sign. Krispy Kreme still uses this strategy today, along with their glazed waterfall method, to coat the donuts that engineers invented in the 1960s. Tasty fact number 7. The record for the world's largest donut goes to a group from Utica, New York. This gigantic pastry measured 16 feet across and weighed 1.7 tons. Due to the extremely long list of supplies and labor needed, 2 different bakeries and a local radio station teamed up to make the record happen. 370 cups of sugar, 5,610 cups of flour, and 2,244 eggs were just some of the ingredients used. One would think that a glazed donut would do the trick, but these overachievers even filled the donuts with jelly. This record was set in 1993 and still stands today. In 1981, John Haidt set the world record for donut eating when he ate 29 donuts in just 6 minutes. 2 men tried to beat this record in 2007, but failed when the challenge turned out to be harder than first thought. While we were talking about world records, let's discuss Boston, Massachusetts. Boston has more donut shops per person than any other city in the world. With 250 donut storefronts, Boston sure is sweet. And the largest box of donuts, that record belongs to Krispy Kreme, with 1 box of glazed donuts weighing in at a whopping 297 pounds. That was tasty fact number 8. Tasty fact number 9. Have you ever seen the donut tower trend lately? No more boring birthday cakes. Have you ever thought about having a donut cake or tower for your party? It may not be 49.5 inches tall like the world record holding donut tower, but it is still sure to be a hit. Use traditional donuts to look like a pyramid or smaller donut holes to give it more of a cone look. Either way, they'll do. Did you know that before the tradition of trick-or-treating had really caught on, people would hang donuts from strings and see who could gobble them up the quickest? See, donuts aren't a new guest to the party after all. Tasty fact number 10. Last but not least, would you care to hear some nutritional facts about donuts? The average glazed donut has about 240 calories in it. A chocolate glazed donut has about 5 teaspoons of sugar in it. Sugar is a carbohydrate that gives us energy. Have you ever wondered why you might crave a donut? Scientists believe that donuts are addictive because they contain a large amount of saccharin. Saccharin is like sugar, but 300 times sweeter. This ingredient is also found in sodas. A little bit of sugar each day is definitely not a bad thing, but too much can cause cavities and harm your body. Nutritionists suggest keeping your sugar intake at or below 10% of your total energy intake for the day. Fruits, vegetables, and dairy contain their own natural carbohydrates that give you energy. A balanced diet will help keep your body happy and healthy. All right, so now you're going to get your graphic organizer and list 3 facts that you learned about donuts. And you can use the book to help if needed.